Alrighty, everybody, it's Sherman Ray, and this is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast today, guys. I got a jam-packed show for you today, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about how did we get here in the first place, guys. We're going to talk about moral relativism and the whole woke movement, progressive movement. Excuse me. We're going to talk a little bit about Hassan Piker. And it looks like the Dems have kicked that brother to the curb, man. We'll talk a little bit about him. And we're going to talk about data centers, guys. This is really important because these are the times in which we live, folks. So stick around, folks. We'll be back in just a second for the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Stick around. Yeah, we're here, folks. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you guys for all being a part of the broadcast today. And yeah, you can tell by my voice that I am still a little under the weather. As a matter of fact, we didn't even get on yesterday. I'm just feeling bad, guys. Just I'm almost over it. I really am. At least I can talk today, because yesterday I could barely talk. I did it in spurts, but really just couldn't get with it, and just didn't feel up to it. But got a lot of stuff online, especially via our Facebook page, but was really unable to really get functioning yesterday. So I want to thank all the folks that are watching us on YouTube, because a lot of you folks are just got a great feedback. I'll tell you, we're starting to grow a little bit on YouTube, so thank you all for being a part of there. And we are getting closer and closer. I just went over 8,000 people who are watching us on Facebook. 8,000, guys. This is amazing. I mean, we were nowhere near this at the beginning of the summer, literally 2 months ago. We were nowhere near this. And so we're just exploding. I'm just so excited about it. And so we're going to start introducing stuff. Do I have it with me? I don't. I'll try to grab it at the break or something like that. We've got some cool merch that we want to show you. Also, before we get going too much further, folks, I want to tell you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's a subscribe button over here, and subscribe to the page. And that way, every time that we broadcast a show, you'll actually be updated. And so we do pretty much a little, what do they call them? Shorts. We do those every day. Yeah, we do them every single day. But I don't know if it tells you that we put up the podcast, but I definitely know people are checking us out with our shorts all the time, and they're really just telling us how they feel about it. Ooh, some of them are good, some of them aren't. But here's what I think. I look at it this way, folks, is if we got you thinking, then we've done our job, right? We've done our job. So let's talk a little bit about our first subject we're going to talk about today is we want to talk about how we got here. And this is what I mean by this, folks, is that we live in a day and age where left is right, right is left, up is down, and there used to be a time when if somebody said that they wanted to kill somebody, that they would be arrested. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Or if somebody said something like, I hate Jesus or something like that, people would look at them like, are you kidding me, buddy? You better bite your tongue. There even used to be a time when if somebody said, that they hate Jews, they would just go crazy and they would say, you've got to be out of your mind. This is America. We don't do that kind of stuff here in America. But now we live in a time, folks, things have changed. We live in a time and a place now where people just say anything and everything. And I know this, folks. I put out a lot of content on a daily basis. And we get stuff that it would curl your curlers, Nancy. Some of the vile things that people say online are just, you think to yourself, do you actually kiss people with that mouth? I've been called every name in the book. And why? It's because they just don't agree with my opinions, or they don't agree with what the facts that I found. And guys, so you don't agree with the facts I found or I'm able to find? Just say, okay, I don't agree with you. Don't just go like, hey, F you and you're a F and you're a blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, well, man, there used to be a time when people had a little bit of morality. I've never, I can never, I can say it very honestly, I've never cursed at somebody online as a rebuttal to what they have said. Ever. Because that's the way I was raised. I was raised in a time and a place where, you know what, you had a little dignity, you had a little decorum. You would never say stuff like that. No way. And folks, I was not raised in the Bible Belt or anything like that. No, I was raised by a little Jamaican lady about that tall. And she said, if I ever hear a word like that coming out of your mouth, and I believed her. And I still believe her. My mom would come back from the grave right now and just, right? No. I still eat with a fork and a knife, guys. I mean, there's some things that you just don't do. But we live in those are called absolute truths, right? Absolutes. And we live in a place right now where, as Nietzsche said, it's only about perspectives, right? There are no absolute truths. He said there's only perspectives. There's a guy, his name is Foucault, okay? Foucault, Foucault. And he said, in the absence of truth, interpret everything as power. The world splits into victims and oppressors. My truth, your truth. So if you got the power, you say whatever the power is, and if you have the power, you say that's the truth. And that's the way some people seem to think that we live now. It started back in Europe, where there was this thought process, man. These people were thinking to themselves, oh, I think this is right, and I think that is right. And it migrated over here into the West, and it turned into wokeism. You know, where people basically say, guess what? I don't believe in God. I don't believe in country. I don't believe in a he or she. It's all how I feel. And over the years, guys, it grew and it metastasized. And it turned into the woke movement. And in the absence of somebody pushing back on that there was a vacuum. There was a vacuum, a moral vacuum that allowed this wokeism, or what started out as this kind of no absolutism, you know, there was no moral absolutes. It allowed that to creep into our society. And now we've got the LGBTQ plus, AI plus, whatever it is. We've got the woke movement. We've got Black Lives Matters. We've got anything and everything you can imagine here in America. We've got DEI, right? We've got all this stuff here because there was nothing to push it back. Now, this is not to say that during certain times in America that we had people that tried to do that. We had the moral majority. You know, we had Pat Buchanan, and we had Pat Robertson. You know, guys like that. But once those guys started backing off a little bit and feeling the pressure, and things started changing. I mean, simply changing and so many of you probably have noticed this, especially in the last 20, 30 years, where moral absolutes have been replaced with, I don't know, we call it wokeism, but it's basically your truth is just as solid as my truth. We've got guys who think that they're girls. We have girls who think they're guys. We have people who sit there and whine and complain about how they have not made it in this world, so it's all right for them to go out and steal from you. We've got people who basically say, you know what, because I didn't make it in this world, I can change all the rules so that the standards are lowered. And as a result of it, guys, we have a weaker society. The reason why I really was working on this particular segment is because it has produced the Democratic Socialists of America. And the Democratic Socialists of America are a direct result of a vacuum of leadership and a vacuum of moral clarity in our nation. You see, we live in a country where the ideal is that you come to this country, you become an American citizen, you work your butt off, and that if you've done everything right, that you can have a house, white picket fence, two plus kids, and a dog and a cat, okay? And retirement. And that's the moral, and that's the American ideal. Well, in the absence of that, guys, guess what? Something along the line happened where people the people weren't getting as much as they thought they should get, and you weren't getting that white picket fence by the time you were 13. And so the Democrat Socialists of America, who are all about 13 years of age, came in and said, hey, guess what? There needs to be a better way. We've got to change this, guys. We really need to have a return, an American renaissance. And because if we don't, guys, guess what? We are going to continue to see the rise of moral relativism instead of moral absolutes in America. Because it's not going to end with just this election cycle. It's going to continue and continue and continue. Anyways, let's take a break. And when we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about Hassan Piker and the Democrat Socialists of America and how they're kicking him to the curb, folks. We'll be back in just a second. Folks, I'm back. This is Sherman Rain. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast, folks. Once again, I want to apologize. My voice might sound a little nasally, and that's because I've been sick for, a couple of days now. Taking a couple of days off and relaxing at home and eating a lot of vitamins and just kind of hanging out. And so we've been active online. We've been trying to get stuff out, but I just this thing in my head here, guys, so we're really sorry about this. Our last segment, we alluded to a guy. What is the guy's name? Let me see if I can even find this guy's name. His name is Paul Marshall, and so I'm going to link to Paul Marshall's look on the 100 years of wokeism. And that was really kind of what I was alluding to in our first segment. And you will love it, guys. You really will. It's about a 15-minute conference that he did. And it was fantastic. It talks all about wokeism. And I didn't do it any justice, but we will leave a link to it in the description, okay? So let's talk a little bit about Hassan Piker. Okay, this is really, really cool. So it looks like people are starting to wake up. Okay, they really are. People are starting to wake up, and they are seeing Hassan Piker and these crazies on the left, the DSA and the Abdul El Sayed, and they're starting to see them for what they really are, guys. And this is, I think, probably the most important thing. Over the last couple of months, the Democratic Socialists of America have been coming in on like gangbusters, and they've been gobbling up the Democrat seats, and Democrats just never saw it coming. They just never saw this coming, and it's kind of scary to watch. It's really kind of scary to watch. They even won another House or another congressional seat, at least the candidate seat, yesterday, and I believe that was in Colorado or something like that. I think it was in Colorado. Her name is Jasmine. Another Jasmine. This Jasmine is just as crazy. The other, she's just not as loud. So, but the big issue was with Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is a Twitch streamer. He is credited with saying things like, hey, guess what? America, 9/11, America had it coming. He hates Republicans. He hates capitalism. He hates America. And really, he's a fire starter. I mean, he's one of those guys who, he's a, what do they call these guys? He's a flamethrower guys, whatever you want to call him. But he's a piece of work. And he has been hanging out with Abdul El-Sayed on the campaign trail, along with AOC and all these other people. This Hassan Piker, who, as I said, is a Twitch streamer. He's got about 2 or 3 million followers between Twitch and YouTube and all this other stuff. And a huge membership subscription clientele. And he keeps talking about how he hates capitalism, but that brother is all about capitalism. There's no doubt about it. But he is such a caustic person. I mean, he is just an evil, vile individual. And yet, Abdul El-Sayed is palling around with him. And we've got the pictures to see it, and many of you have seen it. He's kind of a tall guy and wears his little communist suit on him all the time. And he's a capitalist all the way, guys. He's just a BSer is really what he is. He spends all of his time talking about how he hates this or that as he's counting his money because he's making money the old-fashioned way. Capitalism, okay? So he's full of crap is what he is. So what has happened now is that there's massive pushback now. And people are saying, hey, are you guys going to denounce this Hassan Piker guy? Because he's a piece of work. And, hey, we cannot... if you want our money, okay, you got to disavow this guy. And guess what they're doing, folks? They are. One by one, they are coming out and they're saying, we want nothing to do with Hassan Piker. He's not running for office. He's just a BSer, big, tall BSer guy who's on the trail with this Abdul Sayed guy. And this is just amazing. So this is even Abdul El-Sayed issued this statement, and he said, nobody speaks for his campaign besides me, but he still will not name and shame Piker. He has no plans to campaign with him again. This is the interesting thing about it, is that I guess it's starting, the pressure's starting to get to El-Sayed now, that he's saying, guess what, yes, he's my buddy, and yes, I partied with him, on the campaign trail, but he's getting to the point where people are starting to pull their money from me. And people are saying, we are not endorsing El-Sayed now. Huh. I mean, literally, you've got people are saying, Cory Booker, he said, no, Cory Booker, yeah. He says, nope, not going to endorse El-Sayed. People right and left are saying, look, you disavow this guy, this Hassan Piker guy, or we're done. We're done with you guys. And as it is right now, El-Sayed is trailing, what is Mike's last name? I am so sorry. This is how bad it's getting to my head here. I'm going to forget the guy's name. But his Senate race now in Michigan is in jeopardy. Okay, he was already trailing by 4 points as it is, but now it could even be worse because guess what? The Jews are starting to say, we're done with you also. It's bad enough that the DSA, who of course El-Sayed says he's not a member of, though he's been working with them for years now, the DSA does not like Jews. It does not believe that Israel should exist. And he's already had a problem with them, but now the Jews are saying we're pulling our money out of your campaigns because we cannot live this way. This is just tremendous backlash that we're seeing as a result of this whole DSA thing. People are starting to wake up, and I think that it's high time. I really do. If people would dig into the DSA even more, they would find out even more how anti-Semitic these guys really are. I mean, not just that they were, they don't like Bibi Netanyahu, they don't think Israel should be a nation, period. And that's a topic for another show. Anyways, let's do this. Let's take another break, folks. I'm going to clear my head for just a second. When we come back, we're going to talk about those data centers, guys. Those nasty old data centers. Okay, they're just misunderstood. That's all there is to it. We'll be back in just a second. All right, folks, I'm back. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast. We were talking in the last segment about Abdul El Sayed, and really we're going to probably spend a little bit more time focusing on that guy, because he is if he should actually win as a senator, he will be the first Islamic senator there is. And we've got nothing against people from the Middle East. I care less, to tell you the truth. You have to be American, though, and that's it. You've got to love America. If we cut you right now and you don't bleed red, white, and blue, we don't really need you. Okay, and I don't think he does. I just don't. I don't see it. Okay. So we'll do another thing on him, and we'll do another thing on the DSA too, because I don't think people are really getting it. I just don't. I actually had somebody said something about democratic socialism. They said, "Oh yes, our street lights and our roads and our." I go, "You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you? You're just babbling stuff. You have no idea." Somebody said that MLK was a democratic socialist, and I went, "Oh, you've got it! Oh my gosh, you guys are just talking. It's amazing." So let's talk about data centers, guys. And this is one of those hot topics that has been in the news. And I'm going to pull up something. I'm going to cough here really quick. Sorry. Because I had, I was doing some research on data centers. Oh gosh, maybe, I don't know, a couple of days ago. And one of the things I was talking about was about data centers and how, in many cases, what data centers do, how they do it, but let's dispel something really quick. Data centers are everywhere already. I mean, they're everywhere. Okay, and because they hold a lot of our banking stuff, hospital charts, your phone, AI tools, they are not optional infrastructure, guys, because they are everywhere. If you think about anything that you do on the internet right now, it is somewhere in a data center. It's not in the cloud. There's no actual cloud anyplace, guys. Okay, that's just a euphemism. It's in a building someplace, probably in your locale. There's some big old huge warehouse that has got a bunch of computers in it, and those are data centers. They're here. Here in Las Vegas, we have a place called Switch. And Switch is like the largest data center in, or at least, not, I should say the largest. They're probably one of the most important data centers in North America, because they do a lot of your banking stuff, a lot of it. And so, but recently people have been talking about data centers as though they're the enemy, and how innovation, that they don't want these data centers because, they'll bring out examples of guys who, they live on a family farm, and how this data center is going to come there and they're going to take up this farmland and stuff like that. And I go, I get it. Okay. I really get it. Farmland's been there in your family for years, and I would be upset too. So I'm there. I have compassion for you. Okay. And yet, if we do not allow these data centers to continue to proliferate in America, and guys, guess what? There is so much land in America. not just a little bit of land. Let's talk about here in Las Vegas or in Nevada as it is. Excuse me. 80% of the land in Nevada is BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, okay, or the government. We as people only take about 20% of that land, and of that 20%, most of us don't live on that 20%, okay? There's millions upon millions of acres of land that are just in our state, okay? And data centers could take up, that much of it, and we would still have plenty of room for people. But so far, they've been given this bad rap, and just a bad rap. And if we do not allow data centers to continue to grow, your ability to use your computer, your ability, and people are using them more and more and more. If your phone service, your infrastructure, your banking, your computing, what you're doing here right now, will eventually come to a halt, guys. It will. Okay, that's just on the simple, on a you and me scale. Okay, we're not even talking about as far as an industrial scale. What is it going to do with our military? What is it going to do with our banking? What is it going to do with our government? What is it going to do with our water? How are we going to continue to be able to feed all these people if you don't continue to innovate? Data centers are, and AI is probably going to be, oh my gosh, do I have enough time? Yeah, I got just a couple minutes. The AI revolution, guys, here's the interesting thing about AI revolution. It is going to probably be the biggest expansion of information the world has ever seen, and the quickest it's ever seen in our lifetimes. Okay, you will never see it again, guys, where you're going to see a rollout of quantum amounts of information because of artificial intelligence. I use it, you use it, whether you believe it or not. You probably use it every day, you just don't believe it. You don't use it maybe you don't use it purposefully, but it is a part of your life already. But can you imagine what it's going to be like when people start understanding what they can do with this stuff? And all of a sudden they go, oh my gosh. I mean, I just found out that I've got an iPad here, guys. And I just found out that my iPad had a couple of functions I never knew it had. And I started going hog wild on it. I mean, I went hog wild. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it could do that, okay? That's the same thing with AI. But AI gives you the ability to do exponentially more than what you think you were able to do. And we are just starting to understand it. Okay, so let's talk about and if we don't get ahead of this, guys, guess who will? Yeah, the Chinese. They definitely are. The Russians definitely will do that, guys. They are not going to stop. They are building data centers to the order of magnitude like 10 compared to what we do here in the United States. And it's not because they're better than us. It's just they understand it more than we do. And they understand that this is a race. And I know a lot of people go, oh, don't do it, don't do it. You do it to our detriment. All you people who keep saying, don't build these things, you're doing it to the detriment of our country, our national security. Because guess what? We're the good guys, you guys. Okay, we're the good guys. We really are. I know a lot of people go, oh, we're not the good guys. Oh, yes, we are the good guys, okay? So we cannot allow this. In addition to that, the amount of jobs that we will be able to bring in, because some things you cannot, robots cannot do, okay? Robots cannot build a building at this point, okay? The amount of jobs that these data centers are going to need. Right now, I just watched this show where people, and I was an electrician most of my life. And they told us this back in the 90s. They said there's going to come a time when there's going to be a shortage of skilled workers like us. And now it is. That time is right now. They cannot produce the number of electricians they need to build these data centers. They need them like you wouldn't believe. So if you've got a brother or sister, tell them to become an electrician. If you've got, the jobs are just so plentiful, and they're going to be here for decades, because right now we are in an information bonanza. So get them going. Okay, construction, electricians, pipe fitters, operators. Okay, this is permanent staff is a smaller but skilled technicians, cybersecurity operations. Guys, the jobs are going to be everywhere because of these data centers. So don't be fooled. We need them, guys. And unfortunately I got to end. We need them. Okay. We need them in the worst way. So when people tell you, guys, don't do it. Okay. They're operating out of either ignorance or they know exactly why they're saying it. And they're working with the Chinese. And because those are the only people that actually benefit by us not having data centers, are the Chinese. Okay. Anyways, this has been Sherman Ray for the Nevada Conservative Podcast. Thank you guys once again for being a part of the broadcast. Check us out on our website at thenevadaconservative.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, Truth Social, Rumble. And check us out. And we love you, folks. Thank you all for being a part of the broadcast. We will see you again tomorrow if I can get over this cold. Okay, this has been Sherman Ray. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.